What's going on, guys? Going to do a little Saturday morning Q&A. Just me sitting here with my traps. My wife is off in the bedroom doing something. What are you off in the bedroom doing something about?
I have to get ready. Dressed like 1940s
There's
lady.
nobody watching yet. Anyway, we gotta
That's good.
we gotta wait for YouTube to actually notify some people. So um,
Hasn't even notified
yeah,
me.
what's going on? I think YouTube's finally notifying people. What's going on, guys? Going to do a Saturday morning
What's
Q&A.
going
Good
on? I
morning,
think
Chris
YouTube's
Rose.
finally
Good morning,
notifying
Christian.
people. What's going on, guys? Gonna do a
Oh, let
Saturday
me just
morning
turn down
Q&A.
my
Good morning, Chris
turn down
Rose. Good
my
morning, Christian. What's going
volume
on?
on my computer here. I sit in front of my computer. So no one was here initially because YouTube takes a while to notify folks. But what's going on, everybody? We just went out and did a little half an hour run this morning to kick off Saturday, and we are going to go to Lunt Airport here in Cincinnati today. What are we doing today in 1940s? We're going to dress up in 1940s gear. Sergio says, "What's up, Steve? I've seen your before and after transformation. You're an inspiration. Thank you, guys. Before I get into the Q&A, just want to thank you guys for helping me reach 40,000 subscribers. And I set up a new website, superlivingtoday.com, about 2 weeks ago, and been helping a lot of people with services. Took on quite a few weight loss coaching folks, and been doing workout assessments, exercise form assessments, diet assessments, body fat assessments, should you bulk or cut. If you need any help with your exercises or your diets or your workouts, or if you need one-on-one coaching, or if you need massive iron t-shirts, and mine aren't here yet, but they should be here today, check out superlivingtoday.com, which is linked in most of my videos, but not linked in here. Here's my post running meal. So what's going on, Chris? What's going on, Andy? This is also part of my delicious, nutritious breakfast, Red Monster. So yeah, I'll be here for about a half an hour. If you guys have any questions, just fire them up. If not, I'll just drink a lot of caffeine, and you can see if you can make an old man have a heart attack. I got in 3 workouts this week. How about you guys? Any decent workouts this week? I did chesticles on Monday. I did a 10 by 10 with 230 on the bench, and I just been kind of screwing around this week. And what do we do on Tuesday or Wednesday? We did some back work, and then yesterday I actually did, or the day before I did legs and shoulders. So um, anyway, I'll be in here for about a half an hour. So I'll take your questions, guys. And I will say that after running the marathon and doing the 6 hour workout with Alan Roberts, my my uh, my body needed a little bit of rest, so I've been chilling a little bit. Chris Rowe says, time to fire up the question getting gun. I have a good first one. From time to time, you mention alternating workouts. I find I can't fix my favorite back and pressing workout into the week. Yeah, one of the things that we feel pressure to do is use the same exercises every workout. And what I did for a very long period of time, and what I still kind of do to this day, is I alternate lifts. During my peak, when my bench press was actually at my strongest, around 430, and that was, I don't know, I was at like age 29. I would only bench press every other week. I'd bench press one week, and then I do a lot of dumbbell bench press the next week. So if you have exercises you can't fit in, just alternate them week to week. You're not going to see a decay in strength levels. In fact, it might actually feel better on your joints and stuff. And a lot of times, you can do the primary exercise if you want, like bench press, and then um, after that, in week 1, you could do dumbbell bench press, and and then week 2, you could do close grip bench press. You could just kind of alternate exercises. I wouldn't do more than a 2 week cycle, just back and forth on the assistance work, but it works well, and it's really good at staving off boredom. Daniel D says, black coffee, no sugar. Where is it at? Man, we got so much black coffee up in this house, it's ridiculous. If I showed you my stash, you'd be like, that's probably one of the most intense stashes of coffee. Andy Core said, I've had tennis elbow a few weeks now. Is it best to do no exercise? Andy, I got some really good videos on elbow tendonitis on this channel, but there's some things you want to do. You probably want to go lighter for a couple of weeks, but you need to cut back on your arm volume for a month or two. You need to use. I would definitely get some Versa grips, or if you can't do that, wrist wraps or straps. And then when you're doing your back work, just kind of release your grip like that. Don't do the death grip. Just kind of release it, kind of in a hook. Let the straps do a little bit of work and pull with your back. Those two things alone will help relieve the pressure on your elbow tendonitis. And you really got to check out my video. And if you have any tips in specific, you can go over to my group, Massive Iron. Massive Iron on Facebook. Head over there. The link's below in most of my videos. And Chris says, how long should I wait with experimenting with alternating? I'm not sure what you mean, Chris. How long should you wait? You can dive right in and just get at it and do it as long as you want. It's nothing really to experiment. It's better suited for volume type of work, and you can do it whenever you want. You can do dumbbell bench, and the next week decline bench press. You can alternate for weeks, and then if you're tired of that, you can just switch over to close grip bench presses as your assistance exercise. So Andre says, how long should an upper body workout take? When you're doing an upper lower split and you're trying to cram more into a workout as compared to a full body, or a split, it can take a little bit longer. A lot of that is going to depend on your conditioning level and your strength level. If you're stronger, it's going to take more warm-up sets and more time to get ready for your big compound movements. So if you have an intermediate level of strength, probably about an hour and 15 minutes is reasonable. Sometimes even an hour and 30 minutes, depending on how much volume you're trying to get in. Let's see. Adonis says, will 6 hours of sleep affect my gains as a novice? Adonis, check out my video this week about optimization. You don't worry about short-term things, because life is like that. You're going to have days, you're going to wake up tomorrow and your sleep's going to be less than optimal. Like mine right now. I've been working all week doing assessments and coaching for folks, and I don't think I've gotten more than 6 hours of sleep all week, and I look like a beat old sack of rags or whatever. But you're going to have one day when you're tired, one day when your sleep isn't optimal, one day when you're stressed. That's life. There's going to be challenges every day, but when it comes to lifting, no, this stuff isn't going to affect your gains in the long run, because in the long run, that's the way you need to look at strength and muscle building and fitness. Is you're going to have a consistent effort over time despite the circumstances, and your body will adapt to that effort. So don't worry. You still want to do your best to take care of yourself, but don't worry about those days when food isn't optimal, or sleep isn't optimal, or stress isn't optimal, or your girlfriend's just yelling at you or whatever. It's all good. Just continue to fight over the long run. You are going to make quality gains. Logan says, I'm 45. What kind of routine would you recommend to build strength and muscle mass? Would it be different from a 25-year-old? Logan, if you haven't checked out my book, Massive Iron, please check it out. It is at superlivingtoday.com. But that has a lot of information on how to train correctly to maximize your progress. But for an older lifter, I find I can't work out, and everybody's going to be different. But I find out I can't work out more than 2 days in a row, or else I feel pretty tired and I need a complete day of recovery. For the older lifter, I recommend 3 days a week resistance training. You really don't need more. You can do 4 if you want. You can do 2 on, 1 off, 3 on, 1 off, or you can do alternate every other day and do about 3.5 workouts a week. I'd probably recommend upper lower. Where you do upper, lower, upper, and then the next week lower, upper, lower. And I like to do my back work kind of with my leg, with my lower body work, but that's completely up to you. But you don't want to keep the volume too high. With that said, you can still do some volume work. You just have to drop the intensity. So I like to do probably 16 sets max, but have some volume work worked in there. But the key thing with an over 45 lifter is you have to listen to your body. Don't do anything crazy. You're better off trying to build strength in the 8 to 12 rep range, even for compound movements, and taking your time. and really work on form. That's the biggest thing. So don't overdo the volume. Don't try to overdo the heavy work if your goal isn't pure powerlifting, and just be patient and don't try to beat yourself up. Never try to beat yourself up. That probably doesn't help much, but it's quick and dirty. Andre says, how long could you survive without coffee? Andre, I will tell you this, we will never find out. I will tell you, when I stop drinking coffee, I'll probably be in a casket. And even then, I would encourage you people to just, when you come to my funeral, to pour coffee grounds all over my body, because I might just jump up out of the casket and start running again. Roger says, should one adjust training based on bad sleep? Is there a point when one's sleep is so lacking that you're better off not lifting? No. Exercise is always good, no matter, like, unless you are so tired that you can't drive to the gym without risk of injury. Exercise is always a good option. It's going to make you feel better in the long run. It's going to help you develop mental discipline, but you still, like, if you're really, really tired, you probably don't want to do really heavy, low rep sets. You probably just want to do more volume training, and that's okay. You probably don't want to do as much volume, but you want to get in and do something, because you'll feel better. It'll probably help you sleep. It'll help you blow off some stress. But yeah, you definitely have to do a few things differently. Let's see, Andy, you're welcome. If any of these questions I don't answer completely, and it's hard to get everything in a 30-minute video, you can follow me at Ben the Barman on Instagram. Send me a DM there. Or you can go over to my Facebook group, Massive Iron. We got a huge community, about 3,000 people over there. Massive Iron at Facebook. It's linked below in most videos. And you can post a question there and get some more help. Dr. No says we need a video on Kino Body. I've never watched him. I don't know a damn thing about him. So I challenge you, Dr. No, to make a video on Kino Body, because I do not give a shit about the YouTube fitness community. My focus is trying to help people reach their goals, and that's it. And all these other knuckleheads can keep knuckleheading. David Godfrey says, what would you recommend to rehabilitate a pinched nerve in the shoulder? I don't have any experience with that, David. I am not a doctor. I've never rehabbed a pinched nerve. Sorry to let you down. I would recommend going over to the Massive Iron group on Facebook, posting up that question. There's probably somebody there that has some experience with what they had to deal with. Chris says, is rest time important to support muscle growth? Rest time is important for life, all right? Rest time is important for everything. If you want to push, I don't know if you mean rest in between sets. I'm assuming you just mean rest in general. Yes. You know, when you're young, your body can take a beating and you can do a lot of crazy things to your body, but that doesn't mean they're required for building muscle. That doesn't mean they're required at all. So, look, if you're at the point where you got to be in the gym six days a week and you're just like go, you need to find a second hobby. You really do, because over the long run, as you get stronger, you're going to beat the living crap out of your joints. Go take up hiking, or go take up JM press, close grip bench after chest shoulders hurt my shoulders. Yeah, I've tried the JM press. It's a tricky it's a movement that, all right, I think I'm back. It wouldn't be a live video if it didn't crap out on me, so I apologize for that. It wouldn't be a wonderful live video if YouTube just didn't completely die. It's surely not the internet here. We never have a problem with the internet, but YouTube can't figure their stuff out. Where was I? Sorry, I got distracted by YouTube crapping on me. It does that to me every live video. And I'm trying to backtrack to my questions here, because I got a ton of them. Chris Rose asked, do you have any experience with JM press? Yes. It can be a tricky movement to learn at the beginning. You got to take your time and mess around with it. It's a decent movement. I have tried it a few times. Not my favorite movement, but certainly if you like it, use it. Chris Galore put rest between sets. Chris, I just made a video about rest in between sets this week. Check it out on this channel. It was only a few days ago. Jack Madison says, 110 pounds at the moment. Roughly how much weight gain per month to gain size? Jack, I need to know more information. Your age, your height, everything like that. 110 is extremely thin. You would have to be like a 410-pound male. You never want to gain for that to be normal-ish. You don't, and I'm not saying that to be critical, but I'm just trying to process the information you're giving me, and make sure it's not troll information, to be honest. But you never want to gain weight too quickly, even if you're underweight. So you probably want to gain at that weight a pound or two a month, and just kind of make sure you're eating healthy food. When is it a time to throw on a belt? When you have spent at least a good year lifting, your form is decent, meaning somebody like the big hairy ugly dude has said, hey, you have pretty decent form. You've posted it on a group, and the guys have said you have pretty decent form. And you've developed a good degree of consistency and built a reasonable amount of strength, then it might be time to get a belt. If you're going to get a belt, you want to get one that is handmade, and that doesn't cost that much more, but it's going to be very durable. It's going to be quality. It's going to last you for a very long time, and it's a really good investment. But don't buy a belt before you've put in your work, form. You gotta have your form down. You gotta have a track record of building strength, because if not, you're just a guy wearing a belt at 135 pound with a 135-pound squat that doesn't have good form, and don't be that guy, if that makes sense. All right, let me grab some caffeine molecules. Let's see. Steve Goulart says, what's your take on cyclical keto? Why? That's my take. And I'm just being honest, not critical or sarcastic. Why would you do such a thing? If you enjoy doing it, yes. Is it magical? It's just like every other diet. It has no benefits at all. The only thing cyclical keto is going to do is drive you nuts, because your body's going to pull in water, then it's going to piss out a lot of water. It's going to pull in a lot of water, then it's going to piss out a lot of water. So if you want that aggravation, do it. But you know what? Keto isn't magic. So many people just are fanatical about keto. It's just like any other eating lifestyle. So I really have no opinion. If you're eating healthy, eat whatever way you want, but it's not magic. So Chris Rose says, third and last, I arm wrestle. I use your 5,000 rep challenge and inspiration when making my routine. Do you find pull, push, lower 3 days a week a good strength? Chris, here's the thing. Fuck your program. And I made a video about this, and I'm sorry to be crude, but fuck your program. And I say that to everybody when they ask if something is a good program. Fuck your program. It doesn't matter. Programs don't matter. Anything is good if it motivates you to train. Anything is good if you stick to it, if it works for you. The magic isn't the program. Every program revolves around progressive overload, consistency, a good exercise selection, a reasonable volume, and proper food intake. With those things in place, it's not the program or it's not your gym that are going to hinder you. So if you like it, Chris, absolutely work with it. Q says, what would you do for a 19-year-old who's new to lifting? What would I do? I'd probably buy you a steak and say, work on your exercise form and keep at it. That's what I would do. But if you want to know how to lift, Q, I got tons and tons of videos and workouts on this channel. I got tons of free workouts at tigerfitness.com. And you can check out my book, Massive Iron, at Super Living Today, or link below, and that'll guide you as well. Just watch every video on my channel. That's what I tell you to do, Q. And then get my book. Punya says, beginner program while cutting. I am overweight, 25% body fat. It doesn't matter if you're cutting, bulking, losing weight, gaining weight, whatever. You got to train the same way. There's no different way to train. So the only real difference is when you're cutting and you have less energy intake, you probably want to cut your volume back by about 20%. And that's a generalization, because you really don't want to do a lot of heavy sets, meaning under 5 reps. And you want to probably cut your volume back a little bit, but you can still do volume training. You just don't want to do a lot of volume of intense sets, but you could just add in a more volume of rep work if you want. That's a little bit less intense, but you just got to train strong, train for progressive overload, and train like you would any other way outside of that. What's the latest book you read? I read a couple books on some sci-fi author. I can't even remember, some space book. I'm a space book nut, but I can't remember the title. It's sitting there in my next to my bed. But to be honest, I forgot. Lightning, Steve. Every time I try to bounce at the bottom of the squat, I seem to lose tightness. Yes, of course you would. It seems like I can only do pause squats. That's a discipline issue, but don't try to bounce at the bottom. I think we might just be talking semantics here. You have to work on discipline. When you're coming up out of the hole, concentrate on driving your head up and then your hips forward. You have to maintain tightness. And if pause squats are the only thing that work for you right now, continue to do pause squats while working on your discipline. But you don't want to bounce, because bouncing, you'll have a tendency to round your lower back, or you'll have a little bit of butt wink. You'll get loose and then you'll fall forward. You put strain on your lower back. You don't want to do that. You want to work on your discipline and be patient. That is key. You can't be impatient. If you're having a discipline issue where you're losing tightness, or you can't quite figure things out, what you do is you continue to work on it over time. And that's the best advice I can give you. Edward said, thoughts on, instead of doing programs, doing what you enjoy? No. Yeah, look, Edward, you have to have some focus. You can do what you enjoy as an experienced lifter, but if you just go to the gym and do whatever you feel like every given day, you still have to align that with what you did in the past, and it has to have some goal. If you go into the gym and, like, last time I did bench for whatever, this time I'm going to do bench for whatever, that's okay if you're pushing sets hard and to the limit, but you still have to do some form of comparison. And look, if you're trying to build strength and muscle, there has to be some structure and some form and some goal. Your programs can be a little loose, but too many guys have fuck arounditis as it is in the gym. So I really don't recommend that until you're an experienced lifter and really don't need a program to maintain, to be honest with you. Thoughts on training twice a day, 7 days a week? You want my honest thoughts, and I'm going to tell you this, and I'm not being facetious, and I'm not being sarcastic, but get a fucking life. That's what I say. Get a fucking life. If you can work out 14 times a week, and I'm not trying to be a jackass here to you, just a little tough life. You need to fucking go out and do something else. Go hiking. Get outside in the sun. Take up a different hobby. If you the resistance training is going to involve getting stronger over time. If you are getting stronger over time, you can't take that punishment. You're going to beat the living crap out of your body, and you're going to be hobbling around when you're 35. Second, it's just pointless. It's absolutely pointless. Third, if you're not getting stronger over time, your workouts are pointless, and you could live in the gym. It really doesn't matter. But no, don't do it. Get a life. Get a second hobby. That's my thoughts. Cardio as a power lifter is cardio a necessity for a power lifter? No, it's a necessity for keeping your heart healthy. And look, I don't want to get involved with any endeavor, any fitness thing that doesn't involve health. So if you're going to be a power lifter, you need to do something to keep healthy. Because I've said this before and I'll say it again. When you're dead, your 3 lift total is 0. When you're dead, your 3 lift total is 0. Don't be the fat ass power lifter. It's not worth it unless you're chasing a world record. Don't be the out of shape, winded power lifter. Don't be that guy. Yes, you need cardio. Don't worry about it impacting your gains. You're not a world record holder. And if you're close to that, if you're close to being one of the best ever, then do what it takes if you feel it's worth it. But outside of that, do your cardio. As Hulk Hogan used to say, train, say your prayers, and eat your vitamins. Do your cardio. Mr. Olympia predictions. I don't really watch really watch Mr. Olympia. I do cover it for work, but I'm not like a hardcore fan. So I really you guys can tell me your Mr. Olympia predictions, but it's a circus for me, and it's a circus filled with drug abuse and synthol, and honestly, I don't like it at all. Punya says, beginner program while cutting. You already asked that question, Punya. Scroll back in the video, and I gave you some information on that. Current split, I don't really use I use the same split I've used forever when I do splits: chest, triceps, back, biceps, shoulders, traps, and legs. That's my current split. That's what I do forever. But remember, splits don't work, so that's why I'm so weak and small. Um, BB Rock says I was doing one leg presses, but I started bothering my hip. What's your opinion of this movement? I don't really like single leg presses, to be honest with you. I just never feel like they're the best single leg exercise. Unilateral training has value, but if you're going to do unilateral training, I like body weight lunges for reps, or that type of thing, or high box step ups with a little bit of resistance. That's the sort of thing. I think those are a better choice, to be honest with you. For cardio, would you advise someone to get down for a certain weight before they start training? No. Oh, to jog or run, yeah. I mean, don't start running when you're heavy. You can run a little bit. You could probably do 100 yards at a time, but you really want to probably get your body down to 210 to 230 before you start doing a lot of serious running. I'm in my 240s, and the running I do really beats me up, and I really want to get down to 210 just for that reason alone, so I'm not beat up. So yeah, until you're trying to get the best way to improve your conditioning level before you can get your weight down is actually hiking. And I'm not talking about these flat hikes on these paved things. I'm talking about hikes that go up and down and have stones and roots. It will condition you to a greater degree than you believe is possible, especially if you're doing 4 or 5 to up to 10 miles a weekend. I hiked like for crazy for 2 years before I started running, and when I went out and ran, I could actually run for a couple miles without issue. Let's see. Do you like Zercher squats? You know what? They're a decent exercise. But in the grand scheme of things, there's so many other exercises you can do that, deadlifts and squats and front squats and leg presses and power shrugs and all that kind of stuff. After you get the meat and potatoes done, if you want to squeeze them in because you enjoy them, absolutely do them. Are they probably this is probably going to sound, tick off a few people, but I just don't believe, compared to a lot of the other available exercises, that they're necessarily worth your time. Now, there's a difference between them being worth your time and being doing something because you enjoy it. I just think there's a lot of exercises that are actually better for squats and deadlifts when you look at bang for your buck. That's all. They're a good quality exercise, but there's a lot of good quality posterior chain exercises. Let's put it that way. Do you like goblet squats? I do-ish. They're kind of like cardio. If you're going to do goblet squats, then I think they're probably a really good finisher at the end of a leg workout. For maybe like a 5x10 or 5x20. But the problem with goblet squats is you can never get enough weight up. I mean, if you're a heavy squatter, meaning you squat 315 for reps, even the heaviest dumbbell in the gym isn't close to challenging you like a squat. So they're best as a finisher for like a 5x10 or 5x20 or something that's just going to drain you of energy before you hit the gym. On Speeding says, I'm 15-year-old, 135 pounds, and I did 155-pound squats for 5 reps. Absolutely. Any 15-year-old that squats, I would adopt and feed them in mass quantity. And yeah, that's good. You're doing good, man. Just continue to learn form and continue to get stronger one day at a time. Let's get some caffeine. Destroyer 3663 says, I've been doing incline curls for 2 months with no problems, but I was doing them last night and started getting snapping in forearms. I'm not sure if you mean like down here in your wrist or some kind of impingement or some kind of a tendon type of snapping. With curls, I find that you almost have to be really kind of strict and rotate the elbow a little bit at the end. I like to rotate the elbow up a little bit at the end and rotate in a little bit this way at the end, because if you do that, you can really feel a good contraction. And sometimes we can get sloppy on our curls and we're just kind of lifting like this, and we can put the forearm in kind of a jacked up position. So I would probably recommend, dropping the weight just a little bit and trying to just keep it tight, trying to keep your reps a little bit more strict. When you bring it up, just rotate up a little bit and rotate in and just feel that contraction a little bit more. Just take your time, do your reps, get your volume in, drop the weight a little bit. And if it continues, maybe just drop the exercise for a while. Do you prefer heavy flat bench or heavy incline? I don't really like incline. I've done incline for probably 20 years, incline bench presses, but I don't do much anymore because you know what? I just prefer heavy benching. I prefer dumbbell benching. I prefer push-ups. It's all personal choice, really. But if you prefer heavy inclines, do heavy inclines. Let's see. Chris says, thanks for the live. Have a good day. You too. Thank you. Punya, sorry if you missed my answer, but yeah, it is earlier in the video. Let's see. Adonis Paul, does 9 to 15 sets for compound, 6 to 9 sets for isolation relate to all lifters from beginning to advanced? Those are just generic numbers, and to be honest with you, they're meaningless because that's just a laundry list. That's a to-do list. Exercise selection, progressive overload plan, all that kind of stuff matter. So numbers by themselves are rather meaningless. It's a reasonable amount of volume. It's a lot of compound exercise volume, which probably is too much. You need to really transition from compound exercises to a less intense compound exercise to maybe a machine exercise to an isolation or finisher. And I generally don't do more than 6 sets of compound movements ever for body part. Andrew says, I haven't trained in 7 or 8 months. Would a routine of squats, bench, row, or press and deadlift for 3 days a week to get strength back? Yeah, that'd be okay, but I don't really want you deadlifting 3 days a week. That's your lower back is detrained. You're doing squats a lot. Don't kill yourself. Don't kill yourself. Thank you, Destroyer. Don't kill yourself. The best thing to do when you come back is to do just a little bit of volume and allow yourself 3 weeks to slowly transition and increase the intensity. You don't want to go balls to the wall when you get back in the gym. You want to kind of slowly transition. Start with a moderate weight and a moderate volume and just kind of build back into things. So it's not so much the program you use when you get back into lifting. It's just that you don't do anything insane to hurt yourself before your body can get back into the groove. And squatting, the combination of squatting and deadlifting 6 times a week is too much for the lower back, in my opinion, when you're getting back into things. Adonis says, do you need to count calories on a lean bulk? Here's the thing. If you're eating healthy and you're eating a good quality amount of clean foods most of the time, and the scale weight, you're not losing weight, you're probably going to do okay if you're training really hard. But if you're really struggling to gain muscle mass and it's really a pain in the butt process, you probably need to have some reasonable calorie goal each day and have some type of limiter or guiding system where you can say, okay, I'm pretty close to where I need to be for the day. So is it needed? Not in all cases. Is it a wise decision? Yes, because the more precise you are, the more precise your results will be. And at some point, you got to kind of do some science to figure out how many calories you need to gain weight. And you also need to understand the more muscle mass that you gain, the higher your metabolism is going to be. So there has to be some form of monitoring what you're doing to some degree. Turner says, I was wondering what advice would you give for someone with a myotendinous junction pectoral tear? I have no idea what that means. Doctor says difficult to repair. So I'm not going to be facetious. I'm not being facetious here, Turner. But your doctor has an injury that he's telling you it's difficult to repair and may cause more damage, and you're asking the big hairy ugly dude what to do. No, man, I'm not a doctor. You know what? You need to get a second opinion. And I'm just saying this man to man. I'm not putting down your question at all, but you need to get a second opinion. And you need to seek out a doctor that might be able to, provide you with a little more insight. Go over to Massive Iron Facebook group post up this question and tell them what your doctor said, and tell them, ask for help. Somebody might have some insights. I got a couple powerlifting friends who've had major pec tears, and they're back at full strength. So, thoughts on Eddie Hall losing 25 kilograms? That's a good step for him to actually live to age 50. Not facetious, not sarcastic, reality. Men over the age of 250 pounds die young, and they're lucky to make it much past age 50. So I applaud him. He can't stay that heavy forever. Thoughts on high volume bro splits? Check out my book, Massive Iron, link below. I've made so many videos about this as well. A lot of free content on that issue. It doesn't matter what program you're doing in the long run. I don't care what dipshit tells you otherwise. They don't understand the process. They've never really looked at, like, I've talked to and interviewed probably 1,000 competitors, body transformation stories. 99% of them use bro splits. You know what? People that don't succeed on bro splits are not succeeding for the same reasons nobody else succeeds. They're not pushing hard. They're not being consistent. So it's not really the program. Over the long run, it's not really the program. This quest for optimization with full body and frequency, there's so many other variables involved that in the long run, it really doesn't matter for the average lifter. Hugo says, shout out, big man from Texas. How's it going down there in Texas? I hope you guys have better weather than we are. I'm going to keep rolling with your questions as long as you guys have them, because you guys got a lot of questions today. We need some caffeine molecules. Connor said, ended up getting scapular dyskinesis from doing the BS nether row. It's what I deserve for being a dumbass. What do you suggest for strengthening the left scapula? I would probably do, since you have one side that's a little bit weaker than the other, I would work in a unilateral exercise. Probably dumbbell rows or one-arm cable rows with straps, and don't do them for heavy work. I would start out with a moderate work. Try to do like 3 sets of 20 on both sides, whether you're doing dumbbell rows or single arm cable rows. Concentrate on driving the elbow and shoulder back at the same time, because you'll get good retraction. And then slowly build over time as they feel equal, as both sides feel equal and ready for weight progression, including the weaker side. Then add a weight for both sides. Kai says, hey Steve, nice content lately. Thank you. I'm doing my best to keep the good content rolling. My question would be, I started training 4 years ago, but never did it properly at all. Am I still newbie gains phase? Here's the thing. When it comes to gains, you don't lose your potential. So let's say this is your natural potential over the course of your life, all right? We all have a natural potential. That natural potential does not diminish. It might decrease slightly over time as you age and wither and become an old man like the big, hairy, ugly dude. But this is your natural potential. So in the first 4 years of lifting, if you only make like that amount of gains, you still have this left. If during your first year you make that amount of gains, you have that much left. It doesn't matter, like, if you waste the first 4 years of your life, you still have all those gains left. So don't really consider it in terms of newbie gains or beginner gains. Just know that you have a defined amount of muscle mass you can build. And if you only built a little bit, you can build about half of that every year moving forward. Does that make sense? So if you're a beginner and you do it right, you can build about half of this the first year, half of that the second year, half of that the third year. If you're one of the guys that blew off the first 3 or 4 years of training and you only made that, here's the good news. You have about half of that coming up if you do things correctly. So yes, you didn't waste your beginner gains. Swire says, a novice to intermediate, how dramatic is the difference between 4 to 5 versus 3 sets for compounds? Numbers are just numbers. They mean nothing. They mean nothing. Effort is more important than numbers. A program, you have to look at overall volume. You have to look at how intense you're pushing the sets and so on and so forth. I've never really done more than 3 sets for major compound movements. When it comes to the, additional compound movement, sometimes I do 3, 4, or 5 sets by 10, more volume work. So don't micromanage the little stuff. Focus on what's important, getting stronger over time. Swire says, your experience with hernias? No experience with hernias. I have I'm not a doctor. I don't know how to treat hernias. I don't know how to prevent hernias. Head over to the Massive Iron Group on Facebook. Post that up. There'll be some guys there that have dealt with hernias and that can help you out. Sorry I can't answer your question.
Do you want a coffee?
No, I'm good, thank you. BKS says, I'm 5'11", 175. Is it okay if I eat fats for extra calories? Yes. As long as you're getting your protein in. If you need extra calories, fats are one of the best ways to add calories to your diet. You can add an ounce of heavy cream, a little bit of cheese or sour cream on your meats or your vegetables, avocado, almonds, and nuts. Yep, just make sure they're healthy fats. Where is Fiona? She's always cooking. Hugo wants to know where Fiona. Yeah, get over here.
Hi, Brenda.
We're getting ready for a 1940s day, and
I'm having a bit of stress.
yeah, she's
Trying
doing her
to
hair.
Pin all
She's
these
trying
fancy
to be, yeah, she's trying
hair
to
things.
be beautiful. Me, I just roll out of bed looking like this. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's see. Hey, Big Hairy Ugly Dude, do you think that some really bad so-called fitness advice on YouTube should be banned? No, never ban information. Because then you have to have somebody that's deciding what information is good and bad. And when that happens, the people in power tend to be worse knuckleheads than the people putting out crap advice. So, free market, let the free for all begin. And you know what? The biggest thing is you can't regulate stupid people, and that sounds cruel, but there's a lot of people out there who you really wonder if how they change a light bulb on a daily basis, because they don't take school seriously, they don't take logic skills seriously. And you know what? You can't ban stupid people. It's just impossible. And you put people in power to start determining who is stupid and not, and they're gonna attach themselves to dogma, and they're not going to be the wisest people in general as well. It's just a condition of the human race. So no way. Let's see. What Priester Jones said, what the fuck, what kind of questions do the people ask today? That's a good way to get blocked on my live, and I'm going to do that just right now. There have been a lot of good questions today, but yours was the worst, sir. John Parks says, morning, sir. It's Saturday, 11 a.m. here, 10:15 here. Good morning. Good morning, Damon. Nicholas says, I skipped your question. I did not see your question, Nicholas. If you could post it up again. I try to answer all the questions. Damon says, would you check our forum? Damon says, kicking it in the gym around. Question, did you say we could send you a video? Yeah. You can go over to Super Living Today. I do a form assessment. Super Living Today. I do a form assessment service. You can check that out. In fact, just to remind you guys, can go over to Super Living Today. I do a workout assessment. I'll do a diet assessment. I'll do an exercise form assessment. I'll do should you bulk or cut assessment. I'll do a body fat assessment. I'll also do full weight loss coaching or full training to help you build muscle or strength. Best single accessory for deadlifts. Here's the thing. I don't believe there's a best single accessory exercise for deadlifts, but here's what I believe. You need to get your quads and your back as strong as humanly possible. We have lost the memo when it comes to getting our quad strong. Everybody's so squat focused that they're not doing a lot of extra quad work. So you need to do a lot of quad work. When it comes to back, we have really weak back standards. I could single arm row 270 by 10. You need to get your back as strong as humanly possible. If you get your back as strong as possible and your quads as strong as possible, that's your best deadlift boosting combination, in my opinion. You bet, Kai. Glad to help. John Park says, sir, I'm going through bench press and squat plateau. What do you recommend as accessory workouts? John, I got to tell you, everybody tells me they have a plateau until I look at their program and then decide, hey, you gained 20 pounds of bench press in 6 months. You don't have a plateau. You have a patience issue. So, John, to be honest with you, the first thing you need to do is have someone like me look at your numbers and tell you if you have a patience issue or if you truly have a plateau issue. If you have not gained any strength at all in 4 months on any lift, then you have a plateau issue. So I'd have to look at the numbers, post them up at the Massive Iron Facebook group, or send me a DM at Ben the Barman on Instagram, and that it's better to look at that information before I answer that question. Swire says, I was asking because hernias are common. They are common, but I'm not a doctor, and I do not deal with a lot of injuries Uh, Don Yal Khan says, "Why are so many people bashing Alpha Destiny?" Everybody bashes everybody in YouTube fitness, and I will say this: Alex does a lot of exercises that he likes, and some of these jackasses in YouTube fitness, and I call them jackasses because that's what they are so obsessed with optimal that if a lifter does an exercise for fun, like rack pulls above the knee, they're like, "OMG, big hairy ugly dude." Excuse my lame ass voice. That's not optimal. Who cares? If somebody enjoys doing something and it's challenging, let them stinking do it. Now, if they say it's like the holy grail and the best exercise for building up your deadlift, then you have to take that with a grain of salt. But you know what? People bash people. But Alex is strong. Alex works hard. I respect Alex. And usually a lot of the dipshits that are criticizing guys like him think everything you do in the gym or in life has to have a reason. But you know what? Some of the things you do in life just you do for fun. I went out and ran a trail marathon. Is that optimal for health? No, but I did it because it was a challenge. Sometimes you just challenge yourselves in life, kids, because it teaches you a few things. And the dipshits that don't challenge themselves in life don't understand that, and they criticize everybody. What do your glutes do for a male? They attract. They attract eyeballs, and they're great for strength. Strength on deadlifts, strength on squats, and nobody wants a pancake ass. That's all I can say, Squires. What's a reasonable amount of volume for a full body workout 3 times a week? Check out my book, Massive Iron, link below, or go to Super Living Today. I get into all that stuff. But when you look at volume over the course of a week, it doesn't matter whether it's full body, upper lower split, or a bro split. You want to get in about the same volume of sets and reps and tonnage over the course of a week. So it really doesn't matter. They're all about the same. It's just how you break them up. Hope that helps a little bit. What's going on, Scotland? I can't believe it's sunny in Scotland. It's not really sunny here, and I'm Scottish, so we hope to get over there soon and check out the place of my origin. Do you have any tips for staying on nutrition plan while traveling? If you're on vacation, you probably want to restrict your calories before 5 o'clock, so you can have a big fun meal or have a few drinks after 5 o'clock. If you are driving a lot, you want to get some foods like jerky, like fruits like apple slices and strawberries and blueberries, low-fat string cheese. You want to have snacky foods because traveling can be pretty stressful, and a lot of times we want to stress eat. So you want to keep a lot of low-calorie snack options around, some stuff with protein like jerky and low-fat string cheese, and just have them at your disposal so you can have some food options without getting fat. Latonia says, "You ever hurt your lower back?" Yes. I think everybody that's trained for a while has hurt their lower back in some way, shape, or form. And how do you recover from that? You basically just have to give it rest and assess the cause of the lower back issue, whether it was exercise form related, which typically it is, or it could be an overworking injury. So you either need to fix form or maybe adjust your volume or exercise selection a little bit. Would you suggest doing both close and wide grip bench press? No, you can do both. Alternate week in and week out, or do them both in the same workout. I can't deadlift for medical reasons. Prone to hernias. Are there any lifts that replace a deadlift? No. No, there's no lifts that replace a good lift. But if you can't deadlift for medical reasons, your best bet's to do a lot of squats. And you know what? I don't know if you can power shrug, but you want to do if you can't do heavy shrugs, you want to do a volume of shrug work, and you want to get your back as strong as possible. That's your best. Tips on engaging glutes on the squat. When you're coming up out of the hole, you drive with your head, and when you're trying to engage your glutes in the squat, you drive your hips forward, or you pinch. You think about pinching your glutes together as you drive them forward. That's how you engage the glutes to lock out. Concentrate first and foremost on driving your hips forward. That will help you with glute and hip engagement, and there's really not a lot more than that you need. Let's see. You and Fiona's favorite pre-workout. Uh, I usually just take Ruckus with a little bit of BCAAs, but we're like we have a lot of coffee. Don't tell anybody. Any ideas for really calorie dense food? Heavy cream, an ounce in a protein shake adds a lot of calories. You can add sour cream or cheese to your meats or veggies, and you can add avocado and nuts. Those are your best calorie dense foods. Front squats to build conventional deadlift. I just covered this a little bit earlier. They are a good exercise, but the best way to build your deadlift, in my opinion, is to get your quads and your back as strong as humanly possible, and that can involve front squats. Uh, Nicholas, I don't see your question, so I'm not messing with you. I have not seen your question, Nicholas. If you're putting any Blaha related stuff in there, it's probably going in the spam filter. I don't know why your question's getting caught by spam, but send it to me via DM on Instagram. It seems like it's an issue on your end, but I do not avoid anyone's question at all. And if it's not showing up here, I'm checking on my computer. I don't see it as well. I don't know what's going on. So wish I could help you, but I don't know why your question's not showing up. Let's see. Nicholas, why would that be? You're asking me why YouTube isn't showing your question. I have no idea, man. Banned words or something. If you're using something offensive, there are words I just put in the filter here. So if you're using something offensive beyond that, I have no idea. But I will help you. You can send your question to Ben the Barman at Instagram. I'd be glad to answer it. Empty Anthony, thoughts on squatting first in workouts or last after upper body? Look, sometimes squats, people will tell you that you always need to squat first. If you're going to squat heavy or intense, then you need to squat first. And some people will say, after I'm done with squatting, I feel zapped. You know what? You're just going to have to improve your conditioning and suck it up. But if you're not squatting heavy and you're just doing more volume work, you can certainly do it at the end of your workout. Because the thing is, you don't want to do squats to the point where your form is going to increase, like where your form is going to break down from a lack of mental focus or lack of physical focus. You don't want your form to break down to the point where you're going to increase the risk of injury. So if you can do that at the end of your workout, go ahead and do it. Let's see, opinions on time restricted eating. I don't really have opinions on that because that just sounds to me like nonsense. I mean, why would you restrict? Why would you try? I don't really know what that is. It just doesn't make any sense, but it sounds foolish. If you had to pick one, would you pick flat or incline? No. Overall chest development, what I would pick is getting strong as humanly possible. It really doesn't matter. It's not an either or question. You got to do 2 compounds a week. So do incline bench press and dumbbell flat bench, or do barbell bench press and incline dumbbell bench press. Do both. That's my answer. Why can't I deadlift over 500 pounds but can't power clean 225? No idea. Power clean over 225 is pretty good. That could be body weight. Related to body weight. You could have a really good leverages for your deadlift. You could be a sumo deadlifter with really great form and super leverages. Like a deadlift can be a technical exercise. Power cleans, that might be a really good power clean for your weight. So you just might be a freaky deadlifter. What do you think about hiking for cardio on a lead bulk? Absolutely. Don't do that stuff. Don't be like, is hiking okay? Is cardio okay? Am I going to lose my gains? Don't do that stuff. That stuff is obsessive compulsive thinking.
My hair looks freaking awesome.
Yeah. Come over, check out here 1940s hair. Look at that.
It only took me about maybe
Do you
40
warm up
minutes.
with cardio nowadays? No, I don't warm up with cardio at all. I just get my body temperature up, and I do a lot of warm up sets to get my central nervous system and my body temperature up. Are you interested in training in strongman? Nope, not at all. What is your opinion in strongman training from a functional perspective? Functionally, the best thing you can do is get the body from head to toe as strong as humanly possible. Is strongman a little bit more functional than that? Not for the average person. It increases risk of injury, in my opinion, because the exercises are a little bit more punishing. You're doing cardio with weights. You're going balls out with weights. It's for the average person. It's not required for functional strength, and it increases the risk of injury. Is old school bodybuilding basically power building? Pretty much the same thing, yeah. I mean, we've gotten to the point where we become so minimal in our thinking that we don't do enough volume even when we do full body workouts. So yeah, I like old school bodybuilding because those guys just like to get big and strong. Everything nowadays has become so overcomplicated and so overthinking. Do you do any band exercises? No, don't care for them because I have barbells and dumbbells and I prefer those. And if you guys with Fiona make it to LA, I'll take you out the best coffee in town. You got a deal. All right, guys, this has been long, 55 minutes. I appreciate your support. I'm going to head out. Just a reminder, we have massive iron t-shirts over at superlivingtoday.com. You can check out the link below or head over to Superliving Today. I sold like 90 of them this week. Thank you guys for your support. If you need coaching, weight loss coaching, or muscle building or power building coaching, I offer that. Head over to superlivingtoday.com. If you need a workout assessment, a diet assessment, exercise form assessment, you don't know whether you should bulk or cut, all that kind of good stuff, I can help you out as well. Go over to superlivingtoday.com. So guys, hope this video has been of some help. If you have any questions or comments, check out the link below. If you made it this far in this video and if you have to subscribe to my channel, please do. I'd appreciate the support. So guys, as always, thanks for watching, and let's see if Fiona gets over here. Thanks for watching, and
Stay super sexy.
stay super sexy, people, and thank you for supporting my channel.